Alright guys, so welcome to season 2, episode 2 of the mentorship program. Okay, guys, we have your boy Cam, we got your boy Robinson, we got your boy Aaron. They're here, they're ready. So yeah, man, you know, your boy Sam didn't get to hit me up on time, so
9, 8,
come on, man.
7,
Come on, you can do it, man.
6,
Get that coding in, man.
5,
You can do it, man.
4,
Get up, man.
3,
You can do it, man.
2,
Try it.
1.
Try it. Oh, come
Game
on.
over.
First one to get cut. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Sam. I wish you the best. I hope that you was okay this week. I don't know what happened to you, but you know, that's why I tell people, man, a lot of people's gonna come in. Some are gonna make it, some are not gonna make it, some gonna get cut by the peoples. It's up to you guys to decide who's gonna stay, who's not gonna stay. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, sometimes it's out of my hands. I can help out as much as I can, try to bring as many people into this, but you know, stuff happens in their lives, and you know, and that's how it is, man. Either something happened to them, or pretty much, you know, the passion wasn't there. You know, it could be either one. I don't know. I just giving you guys the details and letting you guys know exactly who got cut this week. All right, so you know, once again, your boy's back and I done did it again, so let's get started. It's your boy Joe back at it again, man. CodingPhase.com. Your boy's back and I done did it again. Yes, we got the people back. We got the mentorship season 2 is back. We done did it again, kids. Yo, we got your boy Aaron, we got Cam, we got Sam, we got your boy Robinson. We got a squad, man. You know, one more person was supposed to be here. You know, it's that person already got cut. You know what I mean? So this is how we doing it. We switching it up this year, right? This season, right? We coming in, we giving everybody a project, right? We giving everybody a project. As a matter of fact, there's gonna be 3 projects that they could choose from every single week. They choose one and say, hey, there's the one that I can do, right? There's one that's going to be easy. There's one that's going to be intermediate. And there's one that's going to be hard, right? People get to choose which one they want to tackle. It's on them. They don't have to finish the whole project, but they need to finish at least a minimum of 3 of the sections, 3 of them, right? Everything doesn't have to be perfect, but what needs to be there is just, you know, the heart, coming in, the determination, being able to show up, you know. So that's pretty much it. And then what's the little twist of this, right, is every week somebody's getting cut, right? So every single week somebody's getting cut. Luckily for this, guys, somebody already got cut, so that means they good. You know what I mean? They good for next week, you know. All right, guys, so now we got your boy Aaron out here. Stay out of the island, you know. Shaolin, man, Staten Island, you dig? We in here, kid. What up, son?
So, you know, week 1 for the mentorship program, it was pretty cool. I learned a lot by putting all the skills that I learned from tutorials and like courses online, and I put it into practice, like, you know, making the page from scratch, and you know, it was a learning process, so it was cool. I just started the project. I started doing the header and the 2 headers, and then I started to build everything together. I put the content section, the info section, you know, then it was like a kind of like a recommended shoe section, and everything started to, you know, to piece together. And the problems I had though were like positioning elements and you know, the different divs inside of divs, because I've never really done anything like that. But anytime I got a problem, I ran into a problem, I would just Google it, which, you know, Google is a great source, and then I was able to, you know, to come up with this. So it was cool. I'm
glad that, you know, you got through it, and you know, you was actually the first one to actually hit me up and was like, yo, man, I'm ready, let's just go for it. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate that, and it just showed me that you really went in and you started working on it as soon as you had the chance. It wasn't like you left it for last minute. which I really appreciate it. I hope everybody that is out there takes that into account, because like I said, we all basically gonna vote at the end of the day. People's gonna come in and vote, you know, who's getting cut for the week. It's not like who's the loser, who's the winner. It's more of a thing to really get people excited to work hard. So I definitely would tell everybody, yo, keep that in mind. Aaron was basically the first one to hit me up like, yo, I'm ready, I got it done. So he definitely got some points for that. This is how the project looked. Okay, cool. I'm taking a second look. I haven't seen this since last week, so I don't even know how it looks. So let me see. Okay, all right, cool. All right, cool. So this is the project that Aaron built. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty similar to what we have here. We're gonna start with the header. Okay, looking at the header, this header is actually a full screen. It has a container, right? So it does have that container which you put in too. But the only thing that's different is, see, the shadows could have been a little bit more crispier on your design. So it's pretty much more about actually like lowering down the opacity on the shadows. As far as like the text here, this text is definitely too big. You gotta make it smaller. See how we have this? This is way smaller. It's like you're looking at 10 pixels of fonts. All right, this is probably like 16. All right, and you might think, oh, it's just text, but all those little things is what makes the design look nice and crispy. So those are like minor details that, you know, if you were in a real job environment, like what they would do is like they will have somebody who will QA it, go over the whole project that you have, and then, you know, come back to you with details like, oh, make this smaller, make this the right color, make this you know, whatever the details that you missed, they will come back and tell you to fix those. So it's not a big deal. Like that's what happens every single day at a job, you know, especially as a developer. Now let's say over here, okay, I would say the buttons over here on the top, the border on it is supposed to be like 1 pixel. You have it, I think, at 2 pixels, which makes it a little bit too thick. Like I said, here the colors, you're definitely missing the colors on the text. Let's see, I think you have everything. All you're really missing is it's more of like the execution, right? The execution of things, because I feel like you have the idea, you know what to do. Now it's about going in there and making it crispy, right? You know, you want to have it perfect, as much perfect as you can, and pretty much clean up the details on it, right? You know, clean up the details on it. Like I'm looking at the page, like it's very similar to the image, very similar to the image, but I can tell which one is the image and which one is the design, which one is the website, right? So you want it to be that somebody will look at this and be like, wait, which one is the image and which one is the design or the website that he built? That's what you want people to say.
You know, only thing, like Joe said, was that that, you know, I had little attention to detail, which is kind of important. You know, like the sizing, like the font size, the, you know, the padding and the margin for the headers, and, you know, really just tweaking that would have made my project, you know, even stand out more. So for the next project, I'm gonna probably just, well, not probably, I'm gonna actually tweak that and, you know, try to pay the attention to detail and make it look really good, make it look really presentable. I added the Charge.js, so, you know, I kind of understand it, but I'm gonna get hone on my JavaScript, and the project I think it was a success for me because I was able to put something together and make it look relatively similar to the actual the PSD, to the image. And yeah, so I'm just gonna improve on this, and I feel good about my project, and that's about it. Peace.
And like I said, listen, like this whole thing is pretty much about grinding and just going hard and creating this projects and just going all the way through, right? There's things that I could see in you, like I could see the hunger. You're like, oh, I want to do this. Like I could tell, like you're still on a beginner stage of HTML, CSS, but all of those things are coming in the more projects that you build. There might be people who we don't know. You're actually the first person to come in and show your projects. We actually don't know what anybody else got, right? Like pretty much people might just come in with 2 sections, right? You might be the only one that just finished the whole project. Some people might come in and have some things where their precisions are off. Some people are, their fonts are different. They're not the same fonts that they were supposed to use. Little things like that is going to happen, right? But what's important is the fact is that you're building projects. And you're going away from the fact, like how we were talking behind the scenes, where basically you've been following different Udemy courses and creating projects, but the ones that the person is teaching. Now it's when you come in and you start putting everything together. You're like, okay, let me start building this out of my own head. Now, I definitely got to give you a lot of props because this is something that people mostly don't do. Like people come in and don't use CSS by itself. They use something like Sass, or they use a framework. I wonder how many people will use a framework out of everybody that's in this season 2, because you actually went in, everything that we're looking at the page, going back to the page itself, everything that you did here, that's all CSS. You've got like 95% of everything done exactly how it looks, and everything's layered at the right places. And all of this is not a framework. All of this is handmade. You went in there, so it means that you're really comfortable with CSS, and it means that you already know your HTML. As far as HTML, you already know that. Your CSS, you're comfortable. Now it's about learning a couple of extra CSS tricks. That's it.
Yeah, we in here with your boy Cam. Cam, what up?
Hey, not much. It's ready for this session.
Word, man. Your boy's back and he done did it again. Yeah. Yo, Cam, so how was your week, man?
Oh, it was tough. I had a long work week, like you were talking about. I had to do some extra hours. I actually just got off work today because one of our cashiers quit, so.
God bless her. Yeah.
They've been dropping like flies.
Yeah. People go in, it's like, yo, 1 week, no notice. It's like, yo, I'm here for 1 week. I ain't giving no notice. I ain't showing up. Yo, forget that check, yo. People crazy. But yeah, man. So we're going to start it off by actually going into the project itself. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this is the original project, right? So this is how things are supposed to look. Here's the header. Here's the top section, which is like a slider. All right. Here we have the logos. Here's a section for the Air Jordans. Okay. Then we have the images here. And then from there, we have the other sections. Okay. It's a lot of sections, actually.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damn sections, But this is super dope, right? Like Cam did all of this stuff straight HTML, CSS. Like there's no images in here. Like all of this stuff is all HTML, CSS. You can actually select it. Like that's how you're supposed to do things. The header looks nice and clean. Let me see. Got the search, got the bag, got the apparel. Everything is good. Everything is definitely good. definitely I could see you try to put in the bag and the number, you know, you could just literally just made a circle there and it would have been fine. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's fine. You could fix that in no time. I like the slider section here. This is pretty legit. Like, let me see. You actually did this thing. Like, you know, I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, most people, they're not gonna be able to do this thing.
Right.
So like, Cam went all out. Like, you really, to be honest with you, I feel like for everything that you have here, like you just on this, like you did a lot of difficult parts. You know, you got a lot of stuff done. Okay. You know, definitely one thing I will say is trying to center this, right? You could put in another div around these and then have that div to be centered of whatever this area is here for that element. So like that, you could actually control it and give it that padding of like that, right? You know, so you could just knock that out. Then we got here limited release Air Jordan, you know, so this is looking good. I would say maybe what can we do here? Maybe just make it a little bit smaller and put in like a container, like a little a div, right? So you do have a section here. Maybe you did it like what, 50%?
Yeah, 50%, I think.
Yeah, so this is actually smaller than 50%. So maybe put this at 40, and then the other one at 50. So this, I don't know why it moved up, but if you say width, let's say 60%, it should be fine. And it actually looks a little bit better. And even inside of this, like let's say, yeah, like at 60, 40, 60, it'll be fine. Right? So it definitely looks good. Let me see the button. The font on it should be a little bit bigger. Let me see. Yeah, I think it looks good. Definitely looks good. So that looks good for sure. Then you got this other section here.
Oh yeah, this took some time too.
Yeah, I can imagine. Maybe, let me see. Fonts are fine. A low line height, right? The line height gotta be bigger on the fonts. You see how that space between them?
Right.
That's the line height. So if you go in there and be 0.5, right now, it's more closer to that. So the line height is what was missing from it. I think this is fine. You know, what I will say is just the padding. There's definitely a bigger padding here. So yeah, I feel like you spend more time to perfecting every section more than everybody else. Like, I feel like everybody was trying to rush to get all the whole page done, and it's like you gotta finish the section that you're working on to be able to move on to the next one. Like even on this one, right? Like this is exactly what I said. I don't know if I said it on this to you or I said it to somebody else, where it's like, hey, if I'm on the header, if the header is 90% done, that's okay. I'll come back to it later, right? And then you can move on to the next one, right? But if the header was done 40% in and you're like, okay, it's 40% in, I'm gonna jump to the next thing. It's like, no, it's like finish this, then jump to this, and then jump to this, and then jump to this until you're done with the last section, or to have it at least in a presentable way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhere like presentable. Unless you have it to that level, you can't jump to the next line. Okay, so yeah, going back to you, Cam, I think so far from this week. You know, you have definitely surprised me. Yeah, good job, kid. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I was worried because I was like, I'm spending so much time doing all these, these little things, and I'm like, man, someone's gonna probably blow me out of the water because I'm spending a lot of time on stuff.
Yeah, no, but that's the idea of it. Like, a website like this, people think like it's gonna get done in 1-2 days. Like, it doesn't work like that. In real life, what happens is you're gonna go in there, they're gonna give you a design, and then from there you're gonna have 3 days to go in and put in the prototype. What you have so far is what you would do 3 days in, 3-4 days in of the prototype, right? Then from there, somebody will come in, QA it, and be like, okay, you got to fix this, you got to fix that. Then from there, you go and fix it, right? Then from there, that's not even done because then now you got to do the sliders. Now you got to go in there and make the JavaScript for the freaking slider, and you want it to slide exactly how you want it, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to take you time, so don't worry about it. You actually did, out of everybody that I've seen so far, you actually did the best work because every section was presentable. It's like you went in there and said, okay, I'm not going to jump to the next part until at least this section is presentable. I can show it to somebody or looks 90% close to what the design is. You know what I mean? So I'm very surprised, Cam. I'm happy for you. I feel like I've seen you flourished on the channel. Next thing we know, Cam is working at XYZ company, and now he bougie. You know what I mean? Now, it's like no more OKC. He's at Austin, or he's like at San Francisco somewhere. Now you start seeing Cam with a suit on, and it's like OG Cam is gone. You know what I mean? So y'all better enjoy your boy Cam for now, because you know how people be. Once they get big, they gone. You don't see them no more. So right now we get Cam all the time. People be like, man, we see Cam all the time in the chat room. He's good. He's family. All right. Once Cam gets that little pocket change, it's like, hey.
I'll still be there.
To be honest with you, I really think that you're doing one of the best works out here, Cam. Hell, who's that? Who's here? It's your boy KC here, man.
AKA Coffee.
AKA Coffee.
Justin Bieber too.
the young JB. Yo, so Casey, what up, man? What brings you to this part of the woods, man?
I don't know. I'm just trying to, I think it's cool to be able to have a mentor like you. So you have 5 years experience. I don't have anyone around me that's into web development. So
nice. So where you from, Casey?
Klickitat, Washington. Really, really small town with like 500 people in it. I'm originally from Montana, but I'm like where all the Hicks live at.
Okay, so this is the project. This is the original project that we have here. Okay, so we got a header, we got a top slider, we got a couple of logos here, we got this Jordan here, we got this couple of hats and a couple of sneakers and a button. This is a little bit more complicated because there's more working with positioning. Then from there we have here like a gallery section, another gallery section. I don't know why they have multiples gallery sections, but yeah, so pretty much this is how the project looks. Now let's come back to this. This is Casey's project. Casey, do you have a responsive? All right, I see you started on this. From what you was telling me, you actually built this with React. So
yeah, I was trying to, I'm good with jQuery and like JavaScript, but I wanted to challenge myself. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of doing jQuery if I already know it? You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So I got to challenge myself.
Nice. Yeah, man. Now this is looking good. I see. You got the slider. This is pretty legit.
Except for it doesn't go in a complete circle, but
yeah, no, that's fine. I mean,
I just didn't finish it, but that's all right.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fine, man. Only thing that I'm gonna say off the bat, I wish you would have just, try to finish one section at a time. It's like,
well, I was gonna be like, oh, this is like the bread and butter, so I wanted to finish it. Like 2 days ago, I only had those 2 sections at the bottom, but
yeah, the border at the bottom, this looks fine. You could definitely, let me see, maybe the font, try to play around with the font, see if you can find one. I like the fact that you did the number here. Came out fine, came out good. I would say try to find the colors for each font, right? Like as you can see here, this search is a little bit grayish. And the idea behind this is that once you hover on top of it, then it becomes the same color as everything else here. So, or probably they have like a thing that is like a button. You click on that, and then the search input field shows up after.
Okay.
Right. So that's probably the idea that the designer has behind it.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this here, I don't know if it was because what do you do this on a 13-inch computer or?
Yeah, dude, I have a 13-inch computer. Like I'll be doing stuff on this computer, and I show it to someone else, and it's like super tiny compared to everybody else.
Yeah. So what I would do is change this and put in edit it, right? So you could say, hey, I want to put in a custom. You see, you got laptop with HIDPI. I don't know what the hell is that, but why didn't I just keep a regular thing? You can come here and say, hey, big monitor, right? So you could get an idea, even on your computer, which is small. You could come here and say, hey, 1920 by 1080 by 1080, right? And then you add that, and then now you come here and you say, okay, big monitor, show me a big monitor. So now you have an idea how it looks on a big monitor.
Yeah, that doesn't look that great.
Yeah, so I mean, and even at that, there's other ways that you could come here and like play around with it and just like, so you could actually see like this is more of a realistic look of how your page looks on a 1080p monitor. All right, like that's exactly how it looks on my laptop. So
kind of draws your eye to them, huh? Instead of like the actual product. Like instead of looking up at the banner, you want the person to look at the Jordans, not the banner. Exactly. So it's like you look at these logos, you just make them. If you would have went in there and made each one to be like much smaller than what it is currently right now. Yeah, I see what you did. So we're not the smartest though.
I mean, what you should have done, maybe put in like at 10% and then add, another 10 different logos. You see, so it actually looks better like that. It's just missing logos. Like if you added more logos, then it would have continued. Background red. I don't know why you got an orange background.
Oh, I copy and paste off other project.
Yeah. So let me see. Take all that stuff. Box shadow.
Time constraints, man.
Yeah.
But that's how the real world is.
Yeah. So this section right here. What I would do. I mean, you didn't have to go in and put in the lines to separate separators, but what I would have done is instead of using a certain width, like how you did, I think you put in by, let me see, you use LIs, okay, ULs and LIs, all right, and then what's the width of this? 212. So it's supposed to be perfect squares. So if you wanted perfect squares, you would do height 212, right? And then so it could be perfect squares, how the image is. And then inside of it, you will say on the images themselves, you will come in and we'll say width, let's say 65%. Right, and then what you would do is you will go in there and use like flex boxes to center it inside of that box.
What was it? It was like 2 pictures, like one index was on top of the other index. and they can position them, and then they can move like this as it gets smaller, like overlap each other. I mean, I could have done that, but I just kind of wanted to challenge myself a little bit more. I thought doing the carousel would be a little bit more of a challenge to me, but that's why I skipped it. But it would probably make more sense to do it in order.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I definitely understand what you was trying to do. You're like, okay, I somewhat got already HTML, CSS down, so I want to really focus on the JavaScript. So I want to challenge myself and do something that's going to challenge myself. So I definitely understand that. What I would say is you just gotta, finish one section at a time, right? Even if you would have came in and said, okay, I'm not gonna do anything below, like let's say the first 3 sections, right? I told everybody this, the same thing I told everybody. Just focus on the first 3 sections, right? If you came in and you said, okay, I got this header, perfect. Okay, that's the easiest part of the whole website. All right. Then from there, this is the hardest part. Okay. So then, okay, this is the hardest part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish this. Then I'm gonna finish this area, which is the logos. And then after finishing the logos, I'm gonna come back here, and all my time that I'm gonna come in is I'm gonna spend it on this, because I know this is gonna take me a long time, right? Okay. So you want to do the things that are easy to get it done as soon as possible, because even if a client comes to you, right, and the client tells you, hey man, it's like there's 2 weeks for you to finish this project, right? But then you say, okay, this is gonna be super hard, right? It's gonna be super hard for me to finish it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spend all my time on this. So let's say 2 weeks go by, and then you still haven't finished the website, and you come back to the client and you show the client everything on the website is bad, and then this area is not 100% complete.
It's still bad.
You know what I mean? And it's not 100% complete. Then what happens is the person's gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell? Like, this is what you've been doing for 2 weeks." So then they're gonna be pissed off. But if you're smart, you do it in a smart way, you're gonna finish the easier parts to get that part done, right? You're gonna finish the header, finish the logo, right? Finish as much as you can that is gonna be easy, and then come back to the parts that are gonna be hard. So like that when the client comes in, you be like, hey, I got the whole website. I need more time. Like as you can see, I finished everything for you, but this part takes more time. So I need more time. So now the client or even your boss is gonna be like, okay, he's right. This thing can be done in 2 weeks. This thing's gonna be done in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
An extra week or whatever. So
exactly. All right, guys, you already know Support Joe back at it again. Today we got Robinson out here, man. So pretty much, Robinson, how was your week, man? How was it?
I was on holiday, but tried to put in the shift, do as much as I could, try as hard as I can. Obviously, like I said, I'm still gaining that experience, still learning how to do it, still learning how to do everything. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun though. It was fun.
Nice. So we're gonna look at the project, okay?
Oh man.
I'm gonna add. So this was the project that you were supposed to build. We're gonna just go over it a little bit for the people that haven't seen this project. This is how the image that I gave them looks. Let's see. I see. Okay, I haven't looked at this since last week, to be honest with you. So that's fine. Okay. All right. And came through with. Basically, like I said, you could go in there and change the images, change it around, make it a little bit different. Doesn't have to be exactly how it was. So this is the project that he came back with. It's pretty cool. It's definitely cool. He had like an Xbox theme. So that's hot. Now, we're gonna start from the top, right? We're gonna start from the header to each section. Okay, so come back. Let's see, header on that, header on this. As you can see on this header, right, like this section here, the fonts are way smaller, and then you have the icons on top. All right, you have the logo here. Let's see what you got. You got something here similar. I mean, the logo doesn't matter because it's really for Xbox, so it makes sense. This menu here, you definitely needed to make it smaller. As you can see, there's actually a background that's white, and this background is gray. See, this one is like at 41 pixels, and it's super thin. This one is thick, and it's like at 72 pixels.
See, when I try to copy the, the men's, and when you use, because obviously on Mac, you can just kind of, when you're looking at photos, you can just hover over it and look at the pixels exactly. When I copied those pixels, it was completely off.
Yeah, because you can't say, like, let's say, for example, I could come here and say, hey, this is 34 pixels, for example, right? But that's for this font, right? It's 34 pixels of this font. If you're using a different type of font, it's not gonna be 34 pixels. It might be actually smaller, so you're gonna have to make the font a little bit bigger, maybe 48 pixels, or the opposite way, where you could say, hey, this font it actually runs bigger, so you have to make it smaller. Instead of 34 pixels, you're gonna have to make it 26 pixels, right? It all depends on the font, right? But what you're seeing here, even though the pixel here tells you it's 34 pixels, the final result on your page needs to be similar to that. You know what I mean? Like, I could come here and look at this and be like, okay, what's the font size? You see, this font size is 100 pixels. So let's say 34 pixels is like that. That's actually smaller. So like I said, this font itself runs small. So you will say 48 pixels. Come back to this. Now that's more similar to it. That's a more...
Oh, yeah, see.
You want to make this stuff with real, like, HTML, CSS, because this image is probably huge. You get what I'm saying? Like, you want to have a website that's gonna load super quick and super easy. Like right now, we're using this on local environment where it's automatic. As soon as you click to load the page is there because all the files are there. But on the internet, it's different. If somebody's on 3G or 4G, like, this page might take forever to load. All right. So let's see, for this part right here, what I will say is, as you can see, this is kind of...
The background images were harder to find because obviously I wasn't copying what you were using. So I was doing my own thing. So it was harder to find background images that flow with the content and make it look a lot more natural, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, that's one thing too. Maybe something that you could look into this is the fact that, just because you have content about Microsoft, right? Or like Xbox, right? It doesn't mean every image on it had to be about the game itself, right? They could have been just filler images, like images like this. Like, this website is about sneakers. There's really nothing about sneakers about it. It's just more like you got jeans and, it's like a certain feel to it, right? You could have come in and put any type of image there. It didn't have to be exactly, oh, let me put in a whole bunch of games in here. We got to work on that. On this, what I would say is, these are perfect squares. And what you have here are like rectangles. So what I would do is, I would say, make them into squares, and then, just make them into square and just make everything like this. You don't even have to do like this design that had like that. All you needed to do was just make sure that it was a perfect square.
I think it's good. I think it's good because the problem is, like, when you have too much time, you literally have too much time and you don't put as much effort in. But then when you have a deadline, you're less reluctant to just do it next week, or I'll do it later. Then you want to learn more, and you want to learn the things that you need to learn to do certain parts of the section of the pages. So you're like, I need to go back and work on my CSS, but then I know, next time, CSS, which is what I learned from this, basically.
There is no rush for you to jump to JavaScript until you feel comfortable and you can create the exact design that's there in a web page. Because before you could even build anything or create any web apps or anything, you have to build a page, right? And if the page doesn't look up to par, then you can't move on to the next step, right?
Yeah.
So don't try to skip steps. Just stay there. Trust me. You'll be like, okay, it might take you a little long, but once you get that done, it's like once you learn how to ride a bike, that's it. You know what I mean? Now you could go skateboard. Now you could go rollerblade. Now you could do whatever you want to do. But you got to first learn that bike. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode, man. You know, season 2, episode 2, man. Now it's time for you guys to vote for who you really want to stay, right? Who you want to see till next week, right? Whoever's the last one, like we did on the last poll, whoever's the last one actually gets cut. All right? So you guys let me know who's getting cut next week, right? Make sure to vote for whoever you want to stay. All right, guys? I'll see you guys later. It's your boy Joe, back at it again, CodingPhase.com. Make sure you vote for the right person, guys. Don't just vote for your best friend. Don't just vote for somebody that you like. Vote for whoever you think got the best work, whoever did the best work, whoever came in and worked hardest. All right? So it's up to you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bow.